Hey, Christopher, so I definitely decided to get, you asked me, as well as a lot of people watching your anime debate regarding the new Pokemon movie I Choose You, about the matter, about what I think of the matter, and, well, much like the whole thing with Lumio's conference last year, I definitely decided that I could not really explain all my feelings about the matter in just one comment because my perspective is just so different from yours, Since I'm gonna be just giving like a little video response to you on the matter, since I mean, even though I'm not gonna try and denigrate your opinion too much, what I am gonna explain why I disagree with it, as well as just in general, other people claim that the movie rewrote history or had some of these characters replaced or erased, which, to be frank, is simply not true. I mean, to be fair, you at least maybe hadn't seen the movie by that point, and also just seemed skeptical of the characters. I can understand how you feel, at least what some of people do, but personally, simply dismissing new characters not really compelling in my case, and it tends to, in general, just draw unjustly through the mud, instead of actually opening the table for them to discuss in earnest fashion. So, I'm definitely gonna be doing this whole thing, not only to kind of offer some perspective on the matter, but also to sort of give a little defense of Makoto and Soji, or rather, Verity and Sorrel as I know in the English dub. I must also point out how a couple of things about the matter is, one, how there were some people who had issues with Bonji as well as Cross replacing Gary, and hey, in the former, get like a mentor character that wasn't and the latter replacing Gary and Damien in the story. But in Gary's case, it kind of reminds me of the joke producers of the first movie had when they jokingly claimed that Gary's agent made too many demands, but that's not important right now. I must also once again ask why it's this Nintendo franchise that seems to be bearing the brunt under the end. Like, I don't hear anywhere near as many people complaining about whenever they want to add new elements to Mario or Zelda. I mean, even the case of ones like Metroid, while I can understand and how people feel about that, I also understand and how if they want to try something different, and whatever it might be. But I digress. As basically the whole opening that is written seems to be with the expectation that this had the movie be a straight retelling of the original series, which I think may have contributed to some of the how people felt, as well as how some reactions were colored other than how this information spread incorrectly. Still, I submit, with that on the table, well, you and many others may not be seeing the big picture, so I may make it a bit larger. So, you I think it's because the movie is not just a celebration of the original series, it's a celebration of the entire franchise at this point. That's kind of why that argument doesn't really hold up when there are elements and Pokemon from Generations 4 and 7, as well as things like smartphones, flat panel monitors in his show's in the movie's verse. And I also have something that I've been having for a while. It's a little portion of an interview with Kunihiko Yuyama, who's been working with the hacking for the anime in some capacity, has directed had all the movies at this point. There's going to be a hiccup for the next one in 2018, but I'll address that at the moment. I'm near the end of this video. Oh, and it actually turns out that because this one snippet of an interview with Yuyama, and here his response to the matter. Since Sun and Moon is currently aired on TV, we thought of doing Sun and Moon anime, a movie. There's also potentially doing a story where the entire cast comes together on the 5th 20th anniversary. However, partially because each movie has different, unique style to it, and maybe because we didn't feel like exactly what we wanted, we instead tried going back to the basics and think about what Pokemon really is. Pokemon started with Satoshi, Ash in Japan, and Pikachu meeting each other, and now that it's been 20 years that people out there aren't familiar with its origin, that's why we decided to depict Satoshi Pikachu meeting from scratch, Ash once again. So, that's the whole thing. Many people actually were getting huffy just because of that, but personally, I actually kind of like it. In that sense, I wouldn't have minded some of the other things like that, but to be fair, if it was just like a one-to-one adaptation of the original series, I actually would have found it kind of boring, to be honest. And I also submit that even though when a franchise goes on past it when they got popular, some parts stick out because of fans who enjoy them. It's kind of the same reason why some people will probably recognize Spock, but they might not recognize DePaul. And also why some people might recognize Yoda, but they might not recognize Ahsoka Tano, if you get my drift. And bringing out the founder of the company, that's also kind of problematic in many ways because of how Nintendo specifically, apparently when they started out, they weren't making video games because, well, when they started out, video games and many electronics all didn't really exist. They started as a toy maker that's given how one of the most notable products actually Hanafuda playing cards that actually you can still get from the My Nintendo Awards, but that's not. The people from the company simply aren't around to see this. Say, it hasn't been that long since Satoru Water passed on, and I think I also have Hiroshi Yamauchi's obituary in my 3DS case. He's given how I've also been kind of doing all this stuff to deal with my own people leaving me. But they will get people who can be there to do so. And in my research this video, for his response, I had actually looked into it, and from what I can gather, these characters actually aren't that bad in this. And also they have other people, not just Rocket Mystery, but also a lot of companions in the credits, which to me is no different from Nick creation of Tony Stark's house or Rey finding Luke Skywalker on a distant planet. Because that's the whole thing. It's not strictly a celebration of just the first season or like the Jodo came to the Jodo. It's everything. And I still submit, given how they've had 20 of these movies with another one on track for next summer. I'm in Japan, probably going to be coming stateside later that year, 2018. This generally does not happen if absolutely no one selects it. I promise you that. And there is the rub, since that's also why, and from what I could gather, given how some of the qualities I have, Verity and Sorrel, what I've looked into, they just seem like nice kids. I submit they're also no more bland than Tracy is, and even though I can understand how I feel about him as well, to me, when I was younger, Tracy was just bland, and in just like a usual sense, like, he merely existed to me, that was all. To this day, I still can't think of any major negatives for that character, but I also can't think of any major positives, so there's that to consider. And as I recall, you also seem quite enthusiastic about Lawn. I also really don't think I need to talking more about him right now, but at the very least, they have more to them than that, and there's also continued speculation about potential remake Generation 4, which will play on the Switch in the near future, but that's beside the point. And I feel that, and also, even though you liked Misty for her hot-headed nature, her and Brock for his Casanova eccentricities, those are both good qualities, I'll admit that. However, I will say they weren't the only qualities I liked about them, let alone the main ones in my case. Since I think when I was younger, I definitely liked Misty for her drive, as well as Brock for how he was often the voice of reason, and also he's in an eccentric intelligent breeder as well, and later a doctor, which I think fit given how Misty had a lot to prove as the youngest of her sisters, as well as Brock as Hawk, given how he was supposed to realize the problem with Pokemon instead of about solving it, at least all medically. And I know it's a common archetype, but then again, so is Goku, so is Luke Skywalker, so is Indiana Jones, if you get my drift, man. And I can identify with these characters and the ones I like because I often see myself some of these characters made sense. And that's why I'm definitely going to be looking forward to talking more about how XYZ soon, because how this is often what sets them apart to me, and that's since they're not the best ones, I'll give it that. And I admit, when I finally did see the movie, I mean like for real, not just like some bits and pieces I saw uploaded on someone's phone earlier this year, I mean, here, it was actually much better than all the trailers would suggest, I mean, and a lot of it was probably blown out of proportion too, since, I mean, even though I can understand how you feel about some of the animation quirks, at the least, I had more ever put in, like, say, like the Super Mario Bros. Movie from 1993 or most of Uwe Boll's films that there is definitely a tacit admission that there was effort in this project. I mean, it's easy to forget with all this hubbub uh, online that for a lot of people, like in that Yuyama quote I just mentioned that this is going to be a lot of people's first Pokemon movie, like be it for young children, say like of people who have been in the franchise since the beginning and want to introduce it to their kids. And overall, that was relatively family friendly, but also still a bit darker than the main series, which kind of reminded me, in respects of the first two Ninja Turtles movies from the 1990s, or the 1996 Transformers movie. And even though I don't entirely agree with your opinion on the matter, Chris, I actually did have been wanting to do this one for a while. I mean, just so you know, I have my review. For anyone watching this ready to go, it'll be uploaded on Christmas Eve, and whatever lies ahead for the movie next year, I hope to look forward to it because now Studio Wood's going to be handling that one alongside OLM because same people that animated because like Attack on Titans off the end, both animated and enjoyed by the way. And apparently Ash is going to be with some other young woman who I'm not sure about, but I'll keep an open mind because apparently even when the franchise was first coming out, there were some doubts about it since they actually wanted to turn the Pikachu on my shirts, like the little Pokemon Monster here, like Pocket Monsters, into a muscular humanoid along with the other Pokemon, but thankfully Yamauchi said no. And also, Clefairy was originally going to be the mascot franchise for, again, Pikachu decided to be more accessible to both male and female viewers, and I think they definitely made the right call there. since for a lot of people, and also that's the whole thing with this franchise, is no matter where we come from our experience are our own, no matter what it might be.